One of my favorite ones is in the studio, ladies and gentlemen.
He is.
His name is Dr. Tartt.
Yes.
He is here, and the last time he was here on the show, you really sparked it up, my friend.
Hey, I'm glad to be back, man. You know, love is in the air or not.
It's that week.
I'm trying to help it be more in the air for those couples that are going through it.
Can I ask you a fundamental question?
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we're doing Valentine's Day. That's why you're here. But there's a lot of people who are anti-Valentine's Day.
Whoa.
And I don't really necessarily understand why somebody would be anti-Valentine's Day.
Because their partner allows them to be anti-Valentine's Day. So there's some people that get into the whole it's a man-made holiday. It's something. It's commercial.
Him, JR.
Oh man, you know I love JR. We go back, but I would have to disagree. Well, I can't disagree with that. It's the one day of the year that you get to appreciate the person you're in love with. It's just the one day. So even if it is commercial, why not jump on board celebrating the person that you're with?
Right. So let me ask you a question. Like JR says, you can do it every day. Why do you have to do it Valentine's?
Spread out the love. Spread it out.
We don't do it every day. What we know is that there are a lot of couples that are attention starved. That's why we're on social media, because we want more attention. We get more attention from our followers and our fans than we do from our husband and wives, boyfriend and girlfriends. What we know is that in order for our relationship to feel good, it has to be a 7-to-1 ratio of positive to negative. So you have to be able to compliment and appreciate me 7 times more than you criticize me. But what we know is we criticize more than we compliment. So JR, why not just go ahead and stack the deck on Valentine's Day and go into that plus 20, plus 30, plus 40?
I'm trying to increase my 7-to-1 ratio. That's what I need to do, right?
That's right.
All right, 14-to-2. I got to even that out. Okay. I can do a little bit of math. I'm going to work at it.
Yeah, so people need to, because our egos won't take. You know, in HR, before they say they're not going to give you the promotion, all right, first thing they do is tell you the 5 things they like about you, 7 things they like about you, and then they tell you what you're doing wrong. It's called the compliment sandwich, because they know your ego can't handle it. If they just come straight in and say, no, you can't have the promotion, you start rattling off all the things that you do. Oh, but I come in early. Oh, but when things change, who's the one that's always here? Who's the one that holds it down no matter what? And you feel unappreciated and people quit.
So,
boy.
Valentine's Day sounds like a makeup day, if you ask me. It's not more so a celebration. It just sounds like, hey, I'm gonna stink the rest of the days and the deck is stacked against me. I might as well try to, you know, have one big splash. It's an eraser.
You know, it can be a racer, but for those in the doghouse. But what we want is to add memories. One of the things that brings couples together, when you ask them what's the one thing that strengthens relationships and marriages, it's called celebrations of triumph. So it's like when someone has done something big and you celebrate it, those are the things that couples remember when they're going through hard times. You remember your wedding, you remember your honeymoon, you remember the best dates, you remember the best Valentine's Day. So we have to make sure that Valentine's Day is great. And nothing generic, JR. It needs to be something that's heartfelt. It needs to be something specific for the person that you're dating. It can't just be generic.
You know, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm really big into, now I've kind of changed my thought, really big into celebrating achievements and celebrating with somebody you love. You know, even with family and even friends, because you have to do that with people, because everybody wants that in their life. So here's what we want to do. We're going to take some calls. Is that okay?
Oh, let's do it.
We're going to go to the phones. Ladies and gentlemen, you have an opportunity right now. If any question you have about relationships, about problems, about issues, even positive things, wanting to let somebody know that you really like them, how's the best way to do it? How's the best way to do it? And you know, really, can you get over a problem that has happened in a relationship? Can you get over those problems and move into the positive? He's here. He's trying to save 10,000 marriages. Dr. Tartt is our guest. He is a spiritual, religious, out of religion. He is just the perfect relationship counselor. He is here taking your calls at 404-741-WVEE. Ty, go right ahead.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead with your question.
So, I am currently separated from my husband. We've been together a total of 15 years, married 6. We never celebrated any of our major events, Valentine, anniversaries, because he said for religious reasons. I'll just leave it at that. When I finally got tired of the lies and the cheating and all that other kind of stuff, I found a place for me and our children, and I'm doing well for myself. It's been almost 2 years that we've been separated, and now he's had this epiphany, and he wants us to come back together and be married. He bought me birthday gifts, sent flowers to my job on our anniversary, even though we live in separate households and are not together. My question is, I'm confused. I don't understand really why now that this is happening, because I said we're getting a divorce this year and I'm going to pay for it. No problem. He's dated other people. Am I falling for like a trick because he hasn't found someone to take care of him like I used to, or what is it? What's going on?
Well, Ty, this is very common. Men don't listen to words. We respond to actions. And you've taken actions to take care of yourself, and now he's had to evaluate, what is my life like without my wife? And he realizes it is a downgrade. He had no idea it was going to be a downgrade. It sounded good, but now that you have raised your level of expectations, now he's courting you again. He's courting. You set limits, and then he responded. So what you want to do is you want to keep those expectations high. Here's the caution point. I caution you to move back in slowly. Don't let this happen overnight, because if you all reunify without making sure that things have changed, you're going to be right back into the same dynamic. So date him slowly. See how it goes. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months to a year. Start with dating once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. But also do this, Ty. You need to raise your level of expectations and start talking about what you want week to week. His behavior will dictate whether he is true or not. Anyone can talk it, but if he can do that consistently, you will have what's called a Michelangelo marriage, which means that you're able to make one another more beautiful. That is a real term in psychology. It's for a flourishing marriage where you both get what you want in a relationship and you both feel better as individuals.
Thank you for your call, Ty. Dr. Tartt, question. You know, she started off by saying, we never celebrated anything. And it sounded like she really wanted to, but he didn't want to. Why do people go into relationships like that?
Well, a selfish person is going to marry someone who's selfless in a dysfunctional marriage. You get more. If you're selfish and the other person is willing to be too nice, they get more. So look at it. Helpers date people that need help. Givers date people that want to get. Narcissists date people that think too lowly of themselves when we're talking about dysfunction. And there are a lot of wives that believe, and it's just taught in the Bible, don't cause strife, don't nag. But there's a fine line between nagging and standing up for your expectations in a marriage.
Say it.
Yeah.
Our number 404-741-WVEE.
Kim from Forest Park, what's on your mind?
I was just wondering, where would you say the best time to, just say forget it or just throw in the towel in a relationship or a marriage? Especially when you've been together for so long, when it's one of you is growing and elevating and the other one is just stagnant, and I don't know, the balance is off.
And what you're talking about is not being equally yoked. This is common. Modern day marriage, we want our partners to be marital life coaches. We expect you, if I'm going to the next level, I expect you to take me to the next level. If I have an event, I need you to support me. If you're having an event, I need you to support me. If we're working out, I need you to work out with me. That is not something that used to be. Our marital expectations of our partner being on the same page are, that is a common thing. It's higher than ever. Also, Kim, what you need to do is that you need to set expectations for your marriage. It feels like it's too much about him and you hang on versus you saying, when is it my season? I need it to be my season so that I don't feel shortchanged in my marriage. Now, here's how you know to let it go. When you set a counseling appointment and you tell him, I've said it, I'm going, and he does not show up 2 to 3 consecutive times, that is the time to let it go. Because
2 or 3 consecutive times?
Well, I try to give grace.
2 or 3?
A lot of times, here's what happens.
Options?
Here's what happens. That's a great. Here's what happens. The wife will come in by herself and she'll start making changes from the first appointment. She'll start doing things differently. And then a lot of times the man will say, man, she's changing. People will say it's changing. And you wouldn't be surprised how many husbands come in the second or third time because they feel like she's making changes. Because remember, marriage is a dance. Let me see if what I can do to make this work.
We're taking your relationship questions. This morning, it's Valentine's week.
Andre from Atlanta, what's your question?
Yes, I'm a veteran with PTSD, and I've been struggling with relationships and love. And it's almost like you'll get there and then you just go into, I'm not going to say an isolation stage. It's like females just don't want to take the time to at least try to experience to see if you're fine.
Andre, what you talk about is very common, not only for military vets, but police, firemen, even people that have, even gangsters that have been through trauma. 1 in 3 people are a victim of a traumatic event. And here's what happens. Here's what's interesting for all the military vets, anyone that served time, police officers, is that at work you're taught not to have feelings. You can't have feelings when you're in the military. If you're in Afghanistan, Bahrain, you can't have feelings when you bust in someone's house. You have to be able to do your job. But here's the thing that we expect. All right, once you're off duty, you have to come home and now be able to emote with your wife, to be able to have those feelings. So without the counseling, there are a lot of military vets and police officers that just can't make that switch. And so all they know is to shut down, especially when there's conflict. They don't want to respond aggressively. So they just shut down and break down. And a lot of women struggle with dealing with those emotions. So what I recommend, Andre, is that you go into counseling. There's a specialized counseling, PTSD and trauma for military vets when it comes to relationships. So get the counseling, explain your symptoms, learn how to flip that switch between work and home so that you can have a thriving relationship and still do your job.
All right, our number 404-741-WVEE. Dr. Tartt, can you hang for 1 second?
Absolutely.
We have a guy on the phone who's got a really interesting problem. I want everybody to listen to this. He asked God for a sign of whether or not he should be in this relationship or not, and you're not going to believe the sign that God sent him, and he still has questions.
What?
I need you to go into your Christian psychology book and help him out with this one, okay?
I'll be ready.
This is deep, ladies and gentlemen. He asked for a sign from God. God gave him a sign. You're not going to believe what the sign is. Dr. Tartt is here. We're taking your relationship issues. Before we get to this guy, we got a guy who's on the phone who's been having problems in his relationship. And he said he asked God to send him a sign, and God sent him a sign. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe the sign he got.
How many?
Exactly. So my question is, Dr. Tartt, real quick, give people your information on how they can check you out.
All right, you can text Tartt, T-A-R-T-T, to 22828. So take your smartphone out and go 22828 and text Tartt. And we also want you to go to prayformymarriage.com. We have a mission to save 10,000 marriages in 2019. And starting February 18th, we are praying for marriages across the country. Go to prayformymarriage.com and take the marital challenge.
All right, so quick question. What is the main question that couples should ask each other before they get together?
What is your love language, and how do you want me to respond in conflict? So
Really?
we need a conflict plan. So when we argue, what's the best way for me to approach you when you're upset? A lot of couples don't do that, and they get to fighting and say, I don't like when you name call. I'd rather you text me. I don't like you to touch me. When I get mad, I need you to leave me alone for 30 minutes so I can process. Because if you don't do that, you can have someone shut down, the other person feels ignored, and so they keep poking the bear when you're trying to calm down, and it can explode. So they have to come up with a conflict plan before they get married.
Speaking of love languages, we have the guy who wrote the book coming on the show on Thursday, right, Nina? Thursday. So he's coming on the show, your 5 love languages. We're going to talk about that. Okay, let's get with this guy who's on the phone right now who's got this issue. V103, hello.
Hey, Frank.
Yes, go right ahead. What's your question?
My question to Dr. Tartt is, I was in a relationship with a young lady for about 16 years. We have a couple of kids. We broke up, and from time to time we get back together. The last time she and I were intimate, I had a dream about 3 demons, and I prayed before I went to sleep and asked God to give me a sign. And my question then would be, would he get back with that individual after that dream?
Well, wait a minute. You just said you asked God for a sign. You went to sleep, and you dreamed about 3 demons in the bed. What other sign are you looking for?
Confirmation. I guess that is the confirmation. I guess I just need to hear it from
Dr.
somebody
Tartt?
else.
What he's talking about is a soul tie. All right. A lot of times we pray, get me out of this relationship. It's toxic. It's dysfunctional. God, give me a sign. God sends not 1, not 2, but 3 demons. And then Will is still connected to that person. Here's why. They've been together 16 years. They've had sex. When you have sex, 2 things happen. All right. 1, you produce chemicals, vasopressin in men, oxytocin in women, that bonds you together, connected. And when you have sex, there's a 6-hour amnesic effect in your marriage. You forget about all problems. Everything is good. It lasts for 6 hours, that is a chemical cocktail. Combined with when you have sex and you are with that person, your brain takes a picture. We can remember really traumatic things and really emotional things. So you have the chemical that's tied to taking a picture of an event with the chemical cocktail of feeling good, and that's why you can't let that person go, because they're in your psyche. We have something going on called PrayForMyMarriage.com where we can pray. Will, you're going to have to consult the Lord and get other believers to help you out of this, to break this soul tie.
Wow, that's what I needed to hear. Thank you so very much.
Hey, Will?
Yes, sir.
Where's she from?
She's from Atlanta.
You sure? She ain't from New Orleans or South Carolina?
Hey.
No.
Okay. Hold on, man. It's a people's... I'm serious.
That was not nice, Frank.
What? Y'all kidding me? I believe in spiritual warfare. I believe people can pray for demons in your life. What are you talking about?
Why they gotta be from certain cities?
Well, we both... What do you mean? We both know. There are certain cities that practice... You think New Orleans people don't practice voodoo?
We ain't making generalizations.
I'm asking you a question.
They do.
They practice voodoo? Yes or no?
Yeah, we see more voodoo down there than here.
Thank you very much. Okay, just be careful. All right, Dr. Tartt, thank you so much, bro.
Anytime.
He's laughing too. All right, give your phone number out, info one more time.
Again, text Tartt, T-A-R-T-T, to 22828. Again, Tartt to 22828, and sign up for the PrayForMyMarriage.com challenge.
Oh, yeah.